Hello guys, welcome to the Alrasta channel to discuss and explain the exciting storyline of your favorite series, SwallowedStar episode 169. In the previous episode, after Yao Hai and his forces were successfully eliminated, Luofeng ordered his troops to track down the remaining insect race members hiding and scattered across the capital planet. However, as they prepared for the mission, a new threat emerged in the form of an insect race mothership, carrying thousands of immortal-level insect colonies. In a critical situation, Luofeng and his forces must find a way to escape the dangerous attack. Despite suffering heavy losses, they strive to evade the insect race's threat. When Sifan Qi was about to sacrifice himself to help Luofeng and the others escape, help arrived just in time to assist them. Then what happened next? Without lingering, let's go straight to the storyline. In the war between humans and the insect race, the momentum for change finally came thanks to the arrival of the venerable Nine Swords. He appeared alongside an elite army of humans, Marquis and King-level immortal warriors, whose power was capable of shaking the balance of the battlefield. Seeing a golden opportunity to launch a counterattack, the human forces advanced with burning determination. The two great forces soon faced off against each other, and a fierce battle was inevitable. Before the big clash, the venerable Nine Swords created a powerful energy barrier, separating the insect army at the front line and hindering their direct attacks. The barrier not only hindered them, but also trapped the insect army in a disadvantageous position. The human army quickly took advantage of this moment and attacked mercilessly, killing the insects trapped on the side of the barrier. The battle turned into a one-sided slaughter, with the insect race losing many of its warriors in a short time. Knowing that defeat was inevitable, the Insect Queen immediately opened the God Country transmission portal, an extraordinary teleportation device that could only be used by powerful entities such as herself. She ordered all of her troops to retreat through the portal. However, the venerable Nine Swords did not stand idly by. He planted his blue swords on the four sides of the portal, creating a sealing seal that prevented the teleportation door from being used freely. But the Insect Queen was not out of ideas. She unleashed a sound wave that resonated across the battlefield, ordering all her soldiers to destroy the swords guarding the portal and bite through the remaining barrier layers. Seeing the barrier begin to weaken, Venerable Nine Swords summoned his ultimate weapon, a giant sword that emitted an aura of destruction. With a powerful vertical slash, he directed his attack straight at the queen insect's nest. Meanwhile, the remaining human forces assaulted the nest's guards, killing them one by one. In panic, the insect queen screamed again, this time issuing a desperate final command. All her forces must blow themselves up. The massive explosion distracted the enemy long enough for the queen to escape Venerable Nine Swords' attack and enter the teleportation portal. Not wanting to let the enemy disappear just like that, Venerable Nine Swords immediately ordered the first squad to pursue her, tracking her teleportation route through the God Country transmission. Meanwhile, the other squads were tasked with combing through and exterminating the remaining insect soldiers in the Dream Underworld Empire. Before departing, Venerable Nine Swords glanced back. With a sharp gaze, he looked at Luofeng, then nodded slowly, a gesture of respect signifying recognition of Luofeng's role in the battle. In the blink of an eye, Venerable Nine Swords left the location. After the battle, Luofeng immediately asked Yin Shuihu, aka Ji Tianchang, the leader of the 9th Legion, for a report on the casualties. Yin Shui reported with a grim expression that the 30 interstellar fleets that participated in the siege of the capital planet had suffered heavy losses. The most tragic thing was the destruction of the imperial capital planet, with innocent citizens becoming the main victims of the massive explosion caused by the insect race. Many warriors who were pursuing the remaining enemies were also killed, and even more tragically, not a single warrior at the universe level survived. However, fortunately, out of the 70 ships tasked with destroying Yao Hai's scattered military bases, all managed to escape the insect race's attack. On the other hand, according to Yin Shuihao's latest report, the figure behind the Great Betrayal has finally been revealed. Marquis Mo Li of Universe First Bank was secretly helping the insect hive escape. It turns out that the nest used its own God Country transmission to escape from the battle area, then moved again using Marquis Mo Li's teleportation to return to the insect race's territory without leaving a trace. This explains how the insect queen was able to disappear so quickly, by performing 2 teleportation transmissions in succession. Meanwhile, Sifan Qi assessed the current situation, considering that the insect race had expended a lot of resources in this rebellion. The loss of 2 immortal-level spies was a huge blow to them. However, despite all these successes, it was unfortunate that the insect queen's nest had not been destroyed, which meant that the threat was not yet completely over. On the other hand, Yin Shuihu just got the update information from the company. She said that the Legion under Venerable Nine Swords has also been tracking the communication records of the traitors. They found records about an operation team that was secretly sent to infiltrate Earth, and Yin Shuihu's explanation is related to the organization that secretly infiltrated Earth in episode 163. Sifan Qi also warned Luofeng to be careful, as they might be using Earth as a hostage to threaten him. However, Luofeng remained unconcerned, as Earth was not a place that could be easily controlled by a group of spies like them, thanks to AI Wu monitoring Earth's security system, which had successfully detected their presence. Even the warriors on Earth, or Luofeng's partners, were now capable of handling everything thanks to Luofeng's trust in them. And of course, in the near future, the insect race would find it extremely difficult to cause chaos in human territory, especially in the Qianwu Kingdom. Then Luofeng thanked Yin Shuihu and Sifan Qi because thanks to them, the threat from Yao Hai and his followers had been successfully eliminated. And finally, they parted ways. After going through many experiences and events, Luofeng has encountered many extraordinary beings that have shown him the devastating power of the insect race. If the insect race were to attack Earth directly, Luofeng fears that Earth could face destruction in the future. However, shortly thereafter, an unfamiliar individual named Venerable Undying sent a request for contact. According to the information Luofeng obtained, Venerable Undying was a high-ranking member of the huge Axe Dojo organization. His power was even slightly stronger than that of Venerable Shi Huo, the father of Yanzhu. Luofeng was curious as to why such a powerful being would wish to contact him. When Luofeng accepted the call, a laugh echoed, instantly drawing Luofeng into an illusion technique. Even this illusion technique could effortlessly penetrate Luofeng's consciousness in the virtual world. Also visible was the silhouette of the cloud contact vine, belonging to the Venerable Undying, which instantly shook the surrounding area. And now, a green shadow figure of the Venerable Undying appeared in front of Luofeng. And it turned out that the purpose of contacting Luofeng was to purchase Earth. From the perspective of Earth or the Milky Way galaxy, it is viewed as a region with no special value. This curiosity arose because Luofeng couldn't understand why the Venerable Undying was targeting Earth. Luofeng would never consider selling the Earth, but refusing the Venerable Undying's request would pose a significant risk, given the power of such an entity. Luofeng then offered another option by suggesting other planets in the Milky Way besides Earth. Upon hearing this, Venerable Undying grew angry, as he was only interested in Earth. Eventually, under the influence of an illusion technique, the pressure Luofeng was enduring grew increasingly intense. When Venerable Undying moved his fingers, Luofeng felt a sharp pain in his ribs, as if his ribs were shattering. Despite having endured torture through illusion techniques, Luofeng remained steadfast in his decision not to sell Earth to Venerable Undying. Seeing Luofeng's resolve, Venerable Undying was intrigued by his courage. He then offered Luofeng a good solution, and this time, he only requested a small plot of land on Earth for himself. Upon hearing this, Luofeng, who had given up hope, finally agreed to the request by giving Venerable Undying an island on Earth to preserve Luofeng's claim to the planet. However, What Luofeng feared was that he did not know the hidden motives of Venerable Undying, who was targeting Earth. Was it related to the metal fragments from the Flame God clan that were on Earth? Who knows? On the other hand, King Yanju and his troops had successfully teleported to the Amazon rainforest on planet Earth, using the immortal crystal in his hand. From the conversation between King Yanju and his troops, it was concluded that one of King Yanju's men had previously given him the location of Luofeng's residence. Without wasting any time, they headed straight to the location. On the other hand, Luofeng's family and others were going about their daily activities, unaware of the impending danger. Luohai, a member of Luofeng's family, was seen practicing, while Luoping and Shu Xin were busy with company matters, and Luofeng's father was playing a virtual game. Not long after, a foggy cloud appeared in the area where the Luo family lived, along with King Yanju and his troops. Hearing the warning, Luofeng's family and the others were shocked, and they were all immediately dragged out by King Yanju. On the other hand, Shu Xin was bound by King Yanju's mental power. After a brief defense, Shu Xin emphasized that this was the residence of Luofeng, a member of the Virtual Universe Company. Therefore, any outsiders who came to visit Earth must first report to the company or Luofeng. However, has Yanju already informed Luofeng about his arrival? Not yet. But to ensure Luofeng can return to Earth more quickly, Yanju will send a message to Luofeng about the current situation. On the other hand, Luofeng, who was still on the Yunmo ship, heard King Yanju's sudden offer. Seeing his family and colleagues being held hostage, Luofeng told King Yanju to leave Earth to discuss further negotiations. After the conversation ended, Luofeng was angry at King Yanju's cunning nature. Finally, Luofeng secretly contacted his master to ask for help. After arriving on Mars via Dylan's God Country transmission, Luofeng was curious about the many offers from powerful figures who wanted Earth. However, Luofeng still did not understand King Yanju's motive for buying Earth. It could be revenge against him, or he could be after something on Earth. From this point on, Luofeng began to think hard to find the answer to this mystery. On the other hand, Dylan, despite being immortal at the initial stage, was determined to protect Luofeng from danger at all costs, even if it meant facing King Yanju himself. Hearing this, Luofeng, who had been feeling burdened, was immediately motivated to fight back and ordered Babata to increase the ship's speed. After Luofeng arrived on Earth, the meeting between the two sides felt tense. Luofeng attempted to maintain his composure upon witnessing his family's captivity, striving to prevent a confrontation to the greatest extent possible. Then, from behind, Dylan communicated with Luofeng through telepathy. Assessing the situation, he explained that the enemy side, including King Yanju, had 6 warriors at the king-level immortal stage. The remaining 12 were at the Marquis immortal stage. Dylan also warned Luofeng to be cautious, as all the enemy members were part of the huge Axe Dojo organization. In his mind, Luofeng wondered why Earth had become the target of 2 figures from the same organization. Here, Luofeng tried to make small talk to stall for time by asking King Yanju why he had come to Earth, even though King Yanju had already sent a message to Luofeng beforehand. King Yanju, aware of Luofeng's intention to delay negotiations, promptly instructed Luofeng to specify his price for Earth. However, from Luofeng's perspective, King Yanju showed no intention of negotiating with him, as he had already taken his family and companions hostage. Therefore, Luofeng will report this matter to the Virtual Universe Company to intervene with the huge Axe Dojo organization. Hearing this, King Yanju, with a sly smile on his face, easily released Luofeng's family. This made Luofeng fall silent and stare intently at him, which made Luofeng even more wary of King Yanju, who was usually arrogant, but was suddenly being nice to him. There must be a hidden motive behind this, guys. After seeing his family and colleagues released without warning, Luofeng immediately brought them into his world ring. Since Luofeng had complied with his request, King Yanzhu told Luofeng to sit down to discuss further negotiations. King Yanzhu wanted to hear Luofeng's price for the earth directly. However, since King Yanzhu did not want to wait, he immediately offered 1 billion Hun Yuan for the earth. Hearing this, Babata explained that 1 billion Hun Yuan was generally owned by warriors at the ordinary immortal level. From Babata's point of view, even that price was already a large sum to buy all the planets in the Milky Way galaxy. However, Luofeng remained adamant that he would not sell the planet to King Yanzhu. After remaining silent for so long, Dylan stepped forward to prepare to protect Luofeng. In response, King Yanzhu burst into laughter because he had dared to reject his offer. This time, King Yanzhu, still holding back his patience, offered a higher price than before, 10 billion Hun Yuan. Upon hearing this, Ai, Atuka, and Babata, the money-loving women, were overjoyed at the amount. In Luofeng's mind, he speculated that his courage to bargain for the earth at such a high price must have been backed by his father, Shihuo. If Luofeng refused the offer, it would be the same as offending the venerable Undying earlier. However, Luofeng still tried to maintain his goal and refused the offer. When Luofeng wanted to respond, King Yanzhu, who knew from the start that the negotiations had been rejected, immediately used his mental powers to pull Luofeng toward him and choke him until the surrounding area shook. At the same time, Dylan, who wanted to save Luofeng, was immediately knocked down by the mental powers of King Yanzhu's subordinates. With only the power of his footsteps, King Yanzhu then unleashed the power of his domain to hide Luofeng's presence and prevent others from interfering with his plans. With an even more brutal threat, King Yanzhu immediately took out his own world ring. Using his immortal power, he easily and quickly trapped the entire human population of Earth inside the ring on a much larger scale. This sudden action left the entire Earth's population in shock, with some even falling into the abyss. And of course, King Yanzhu only gave Luofeng two choices. The first was to surrender Earth to him, and if he agreed, Luofeng would receive 10 billion, and the Earth's inhabitants would be freed. The second choice was that if Luofeng refused the offer, all living beings within the world ring would be annihilated, leaving none behind. While resisting the pressure from King Yanzhu, Luofeng grew furious and insulted King Yanzhu's dignity for having kidnapped the Earth's citizens. Enraged by Luofeng's constant excuses, King Yanzhu immediately struck Luofeng's head against the ground. However, shortly afterward, time seemed to freeze, accompanied by space cracks appearing around King Yanzhu's troops. Realizing that Yanzhu's domain power had been detected, Luofeng and Dylan were finally able to be rescued. At the same time, Emperor Zhenyan appeared. In a silent move, Emperor Zhenyan had seized the world ring belonging to King Yanzhu, which held the Earth's inhabitants. Upon seeing Emperor Zhenyan's arrival, Luofeng and Dylan immediately greeted him with respect. Meanwhile, Yanzhu, who was annoyed, said, "Does Emperor Zhenyan have nothing better to do than stay with his disciple all the time?" He only responded with a smirk. Then he said, "Yanzhu, you are such an emotional person. Have you forgotten that I used to beat you up in the past? And now you are taking it out on my disciple." That's pretty bold. Unlike before, Yanzhu emphasized that the matters occurring on Earth had nothing to do with the Zhenyan Emperor. And since he had brought his troops, Yanzhu was willing to fight if necessary. Fight? All right, go ahead, said the Zhenyan Emperor. So what happens next? Will there be a fierce battle between the two? Alright, thank you for watching until the end, and don't forget to support this channel with likes, subscribe, and comments. That's all from me. Bye.
有我们，你保不住赢我。证明罗凤还下攻势过猛，导致向背后
将他擒下。
别在任何一攻给对方，是你的坏行者面前不敬。给我，
你不得对地球再做任何处置。
我滚！影响，这碾碎星辰的力